In this video, I'll show you how to create a hinge elbow model. Click Create, select Document. For the document name, type hinge elbow model. Click OK. Start a new sketch on the front plane. Right-click View Normal to Sketch Plane or press the letter N on your keyboard. Hide the top, the front, and the right view. Select Center Point Circle. Draw a circle. And then draw another circle. Dimension the first circle. Type 1 inch. And for the other circle, type 0.75. Select the corner rectangle. Line up the point of your rectangle with the center of the circle and click on the inner circle. Click and then drag out to the right. And now let's dimension. Dimension this line to 0.125 and the length to 4 inches. Now that everything is in black, click Check. Right-click Isometric. Select Extrude. Select all the faces. Move it to the opposite direction. And then for the depth, type 0.25. Press Enter and click Check. Rotate your model so that we could see the back view. Start a new sketch on that face. Right-click, View Normal to Sketch. Select the corner rectangle and draw a rectangle coming from this corner going to the circle. Click. Select the Dimension tool. Select the top line or the bottom line and type 3.65. Press Enter. You'll notice that the rectangle barely touches that point. Click Check. Zoom out. And then just go back to that back part and then extrude. For the extrusion, type 0.125 and then make sure that we're adding this piece. Click Check. So that's what we have so far. To continue, start a new sketch and rotate your model so that you could choose this surface. Right click, View Normal to Sketch Plane. Now select Use to project the circles. And then choose the corner rectangle and start your rectangle from this point. So click and then drag out like so. Now select Dimension, zoom out, select this line and type 4.5. Click Check to accept the sketch. So now we're ready to extrude. Click Extrude. Rotate your model a bit. Select all these faces. And then for the depth, type 0.125. And then instead of Add, we are creating a new solid part. So click New. And then click OK. Now start a new sketch. And this time around, we are going to choose this face. Right-click, View Normal to Sketch. And start a corner rectangle from this corner. And draw to your right. Select Dimension. Select the bottom line, click and drag, and then type 3.8. You'll notice that the rectangle barely touches this point right here. So click Check. Zoom out, and now it's time for us to extrude. Select Sketch 4. For the depth, type 0.25. And make sure you're adding this and it's not a new solid. So click Add. Click Check. And now we're ready to move forward to mirror these parts. So rotate, select Mirror, select part number 1 for your entities to mirror. Click mirror plane and select this surface as your mirror plane. And make sure that you're adding it to part number 1. Click check. Once more, select mirror. For entities to mirror, select part 2. Click mirror plane and select this surface as your mirror plane. And make sure you're adding it. Click add. And you're adding it to part 2. Click check. And now this is what you have. For the final piece, select sketch. Select the surface of this ring. Select use to project this inner circle. And then accept the sketch. Now click extrude. Select the inner circle to extrude. Change the direction to the opposite direction. And click blind. Select up to face. Rotate so that you could select this part and it will extrude up to the edge of that part. So click check. And now we're done with your part studio. Okay, now let's go ahead and assemble our part studio. So click assembly 1, click insert, click part studio, and then click in the canvas and accept the changes that you made. Now look at the bottom of part number 1. Click once for the triad manipulator to show up. Click the center of that and drag it to the center of part 1. Right click at the center of the triad manipulator and click move to origin. And then right click on the part and click fix. Okay, so this part now is fixed. It won't move. These two other parts though, we could still drag them. Okay, next, click fasten mate. Click at this part, click at the axle, the surface of it, and go ahead and click on the surface of the ring. And then click check to accept. Now you'll see that this part is now fastened to it. Okay, so as a final step, let's add the revolute mate to the two parts. So first, select revolute mate and select this one first. And then select this one next. So if you want your work to be exactly the way I'm doing it, you need to select this part and then the axle after. And then for the offset, as you can see, here's the Z, and right now it's at 0 inch, so it's occupying the same space. Let's try to type 0.25 and let's see what happens. And then just click on rotation angle for now. And as you can see that the movement, it went out, and that's not what we want. So let's put a negative 0.25 there. So a negative, and then click, and now it's inside. Click check. Okay, so now let's try our model. And you'll see that the model rotates 360 degrees. Okay, so that's not what we want. What we want to add now would be numerical stops to it so that when we move it, it stops at a 45-degree angle, which is the normal bend of the elbow, and then it stops at around 180 when it's fully extended. Okay, so right click on revolute, click edit, click limits, and then we'll put a 45-degree angle limit here. So type 45 and click the next one, and notice what happens. Okay, so the 45 degrees was actually measured from the straight path here, so it's actually going down 45 degrees. So what we want is a 45 degrees from this surface right here. So let's click on reorient secondary axis to rotate it around until you get to this point. So this is the 45 degrees that we want, okay, not the previous one. And then for the maximum, we'll put 180. Press enter. Now we could accept the revolute mate and then right click here and then just say animate. And then let's just play it with a start value of 45 degrees, which is this, and an end value of 180. For the steps, let's go ahead and type 100 so it will move faster. Click check. Okay, probably too fast. Let's do 200. So notice that it actually stops at 180 and then it moves up to 45. And then you'll see that there's no interference there. It actually stops even before it hits that part. And then it stops here as well. Now you've just created a hinge joint, which is the type of joint that we have in our elbow.